Hello dear TOPCAT friends, welcome to the TOPCAT Workshop Level 1 Basics where you will learn essential skills. We begin today with a materials check and then we will continue onwards with the basic maneuvers in your TOPCAT. Let's start with the shrouds on this side. For that you unzip it right here. Basically, it is crucial that you regularly check your shrouds to see if there are any loose parts or other such things like this sticking out, if indeed the fitting is really secure. Often unseen issues can arise here. If no problems arise, perfect. Always keep an eye on the cotter pin here to see if it is secure or about to fall out. Then check the screws on the bottom here, feel them, and ensure they're tight so your screw construction is secure, effectively preventing anything bad from happening to your boat. Let's just walk around the boat and take a close look at every screwed in part on the hulls. And of course, we also take another thorough look at our shroud here to see if everything is still in order. Finally, it's always helpful to look up at the fitting to see if anything seems odd or unusual. If so, you'll unfortunately have to bring down the mast, but if everything is fine, you can continue with your sailing routine, ensuring all gear is in proper order. Let's continue with our boat check on the Avanti by also taking a look at the front of our catamaran. Here we will take a closer look at our power spreader, as well as the corresponding bridle wires. The same applies to the bridle line. Just take a close look here, make sure everything is in good order, and thoroughly check if the wire looks good and is not damaged in any way. Please do the same also on the top. Let's look up and check if it looks fine on both sides. Then also thoroughly check here if everything is securely fastened. Does the shackle fit properly here? If that's not the case, just tighten it slightly more. Then we'll take a closer look at our furling jib here. Here it's always important to see, does it roll? Yes, it does. Should something snag in the jib roller, you can spray a little bit of Teflon spray into the bearing. Just a little squirt of Teflon spray, then everything works perfectly fine once again, just like it should. Let's roll out the jib first. Let's carefully see if it rolls out well and smoothly. That looks great. Our jib looks fine too. Okay, then the last standing rigging we need is the forestay itself. So we'll open this first. And then let's take an even closer and detailed look at the forestay. Does everything look okay to you? Is there anything sticking out? The same, of course. You should also do at the top. If you only set up the boat once a year, then please do this at the beginning of the year. Really check it again. And also in the fall when you take it down, just to be safe, ask yourself, do I need to replace it? Will it work for another sailing season? Exactly. So before we get back on the water, we need to roll in the jib again. And if it ever happens that the jib is too short here, then you can simply open the shackle and wrap the jib around once again. Then you just have a little more furled jib. This technique can be very helpful for you because you don't want your jib fluttering around when you're out in stronger winds. So open it up here, pull it nicely around, pay attention so the jib doesn't twist. Then we've inspected our jib and it looks good. Now let's take a look at the trampoline to see if it has enough tension. Yes, this one could use a bit more tension. In this case, simply open it here at the cleat. And now you have two specific options. Either you try to tighten it again by hand, let's say. Or you may also tighten the trampoline. The main sheet, just release the main sheet. Hook it right here. and then simply work carefully with the main sheet's lead. That's usually easier for you. Exactly. And then just add more tension. To secure your tension, just go around here once more, ensuring everything is snug and securely fastened. Make a half hitch, then securely fasten your line, and with that, also the trampoline tension. Then you can attach the line here again and put it here in the trampoline. Now that we have checked the trampoline tension, it's also important to ensure that our hiking straps on the trampoline have the correct tension. It's very important to twist the hiking straps because if they lie flat on the deck, you have no effective way of getting your feet underneath them. This twist is necessary because it actually ensures both stability and control while you're sailing. So you can position your feet here, hold on properly, and ensure a secure grip for safety, especially in rough seas. Just as I explained it, I now want to show you again so you can understand what I mean and see how everything fits together. So if we had it flat like this here, I simply would have no possible way to get my foot in somehow at all, especially when I have more tension on it. But because of the twist, I can easily get under here and can hold on really well. Alright, let's go and check the batten tension closely before we start sailing. We need this such that our sail stands nicely and we can sail smoothly. Then just take a look right here basically. Okay, you can clearly see now it's actually quite loose and flexible. So we simply tighten this one here, and then we'll add a second knot just to make sure it's secure. You can also add a third one so you don't lose your batten tension as it saves you time. So, exactly. You can then do the same with the other battens. Like I said, having good batten tension is always very beneficial for performance. You shouldn't overdo it. Just make sure the creases come out from the sail fabric to ensure optimal performance. And yes, if any batten somewhere else in the sail where you can't reach doesn't fit exactly, just take it down after sailing, retighten it like I showed you before, and you'll achieve good batten tension all over the mainsail. This shouldn't take long and will help you a lot. I always recommend after sailing that the main sheet is fully tightened. Why am I doing this? When you have a fully trimmed main sheet, you simply don't have the problem of it twisting somehow when you take it off and it lands in the sail locker, because that way it's just close together. You can nicely attach the main sheet yourself, and once fastened here, check if the shackle is tight, ensuring the boat is secure before you cast off. So it is, then you can simply just open it and then securely hook it right here before sailing off to sea. Otherwise, there is the danger. I'll show you the wrong way now. You pack the main sheet, it might be too long, and then you twist it once around and have it that way for the next time. And maybe you didn't look closely before, and then you have the problem on the water. And taking off the main sheet on the water might not be a problem in light wind, but with heavy wind, it becomes a bigger issue. And that's exactly why you should just completely haul in, haul tight, and then you simply won't have any more problems with it at all. Let's take another detailed look at the batten tension here. You can, of course, always do this on land too. Important for that. Pull the main sheet a bit tighter, also tighten the Cunningham. And in this case, you can then see if your battens are appropriately tensioned. So finally, let's fully check if our lines run smoothly and free. First, start with the jib sheet. It appears to be in good condition. Fortunately, nothing is twisted or knotted here so far. Then let's take a look at our righting line on the Avanti to see if everything is fine here. That looks good too. Then afterward we can open it up nicely again. Alright, the same with the main sheet. Ensure that the traveler and main sheet move freely with no tangles. Running. That's the case. Okay, let's take a look at the steering system, the way the steering system works. I've propped up the boat now. If you have a slipway trolley, you can very easily and thoroughly inspect everything. First, essentially press the rudder system down. The rudder system locks in place. The rudder case is then securely closed. The rubber is around the edges tightly. Then we pull our line here, ensuring everything is set correctly. And as you can clearly see, the rudder system comes up wonderfully again. We should double check it again, even if we do have ground contact, and ensure that our rudder system really comes up when triggered. Just give it a swift kick and you'll surely see it then opens up, rises, all good, nothing more to worry about. Important point now, if you have the rudder blade up, please don't just push it back down, because doing so could potentially cause damage or misalignment. That might cause the rudder blade to come back up again, something we don't want due to steering issues and loss of control. Simply push it forward with your hand, and then close the rudder box again carefully. And you can go back to your sailing position. When sailing, it's generally the case that we don't stand next to or behind the boat, but rather we are on the boat. That's why I'd like to show it to you while I am on the boat. For that, I'll just climb on it quickly and have a seat here. When you drive to the beach and sit up here, you can very easily release the rudder system with the release cord, and then either head to the beach or tack out depending on conditions and the current state of the sea. The same rule applies, of course, if the rudder box is unexpectedly left open. You see again, it doesn't seem to work. In this case, really push against it once, back down, and then everything works smoothly. The problem is resolved and you can continue sailing. And if the rudder system doesn't work perfectly, like here, just check our other fantastic videos on the TOPCAT rudder system, because you'll find the help you need with ease and convenience.